You're still tanned, and I'm now pasty
You're
as
not.
hell.
You're brown.
I'm
It's just
not,
that
I'm
I'm
white.
so brown. Listen,
I'm a pasty
you needed to have an Arabic father. What can I say? It's the benefits.
It's the benefits.
That's the thing, you see. There might be
No, I
some
needed
negatives.
to have a father.
Oh yeah. First of all, we need to get you a father.
That would have been something.
So you didn't have a daddy and you didn't have an Arabic
Oh, shut up.
But you are brown, but
No, I'm
just not as
not.
brown as me.
I'm not brown. It's already. You get to the UK and the air just hoovers colour out of you. It's horrible.
Out in the garden
Dry
for
up.
half an hour every day. You look so well. Everyone is saying, even Dina, and Dina never gives compliments, ever. Oh my God, Mark looks so young.
Wow, crikey.
Yeah.
Morning, Ross Sash. Good morning, everyone. Good morning if you're listening on podcast. Good morning if you're watching on YouTube. And good morning if you are merely just kind of tuning in by the power of distant healing. Does distant healing work? Does anyone believe in distant healing? I remember someone years ago, in fact, I think it was your mum, saying that someone else had aimed distant healing at them because they were feeling ill.
Trouble is, does it ever miss?
And can I finish the story?
Sorry. Go on, darling, sorry.
And your mother said she must have missed me.
Did she?
Because suddenly Teddy felt better.
That's so my mum. My mum has the driest wit, doesn't she?
She does.
When she's funny, there is nobody as funny as my mum.
No.
Honestly.
There really isn't.
It's like surgery. It's a scalpel. While everyone else is headless chickens running around, showing off, saying everything, my mum will sit silently and then just go...
Yeah. She can. Thank God she doesn't do distant viciousness. I mean, if distant healing can exist, then presumably something like voodoo can exist. Where you set, people pierce things and send darkness.
Well, I do think negative. I know as soon as you start talking about negative energy or positive energy, everyone goes, "Oh God, here we are. The vandals in sandals are here." But there is. I really look. When you just meet some people and you just feel there's an energy from them. That's good. There's the radiators, aren't there, and the drainers.
So, right,
is that the two things?
The radiators and the drains.
People that radiate. And people
Rachel
that take.
FH, it's your birthday. Didn't see your message.
And people that take from you. So that's energy. You're picking up on people's energy. So I'm sure, we know that we're not using anything like the full power of our brain. I'm sure if you think nastily enough about somebody, it could have some effect.
We're getting into Harry Potter land now, aren't we? I mean, it's like... Do you remember that film Scanners, where David Cronenberg film, where they intensely compete and blow each other's brains up just by the power of thought?
I mean, the evil eye that lots of different cultures wear. The evil eye. It's it is literally an eye, a glass eye. A lot of necklaces is to keep people away from looking at you, to look at the eye instead. So that you're not taking in their bad energy.
What a load of old bunkum.
Well, not for some people.
Distant Reiki. Is it Reiki or
Reiki healing.
Reiki healing.
Yeah. I've got a number of my friends have it, and they really, really do notice the difference.
Does anyone believe in regression therapy, where you're taken back to birth?
I know people that have done that, and one person, her boyfriend that she just couldn't seem to get rid of, she just, however horrible he was, she couldn't seem to dump him. So she went for regression therapy.
Yeah.
And apparently the reason was that 5,000 years ago he was her brother.
Oh, God.
Or a sister.
Relationship
or a sister. Or something like that.
Charlene Horrocks, Reiki healing is... I might have to do this. I might have a go at Reiki healing, because, I know nothing about it. I will, I pop an eyebrow up and I sort of go, what? What's the concept? Is it about energy vibes? Is it about... Is it spiritual? So. What is it? Is it...
You know who does it? Kaz. My friend Kaz does it.
Does she? What, she receives it, or she gives... Is she a giver or a receiver?
She's a giver.
Oh, is she? Why doesn't that surprise me? Don't know why. Yes.
Anyway. So we didn't get to bed till 2:00 this morning. We are behaving so badly since we got back from our holiday. I am now knackered and about to support myself with a double
Hang on a minute.
espresso shot, and with my ADHD medication, it's never a good thing to have them at the same time. So anything could happen. Now, the reason we were up so late was we got addicted to a new social media app.
No. I've just...
Oh, what, Mark?
Fuck.
What?
Completely lost my thread.
Oh, here we go. Right. So I've posted on my... So there's a new social media app, Threads, and I have put up there, anyone who can make me laugh with a very cheesy sewing Threads joke, I will follow them. So Mark keeps making extra jokes. He wants me to follow him extra.
I want to thread the eye of your needle.
Oh, sir, I hardly know you.
And then I want to do cross stitch.
Oh, and I don't even know your surname.
I know. What's that funny stitch which is a loop that you then a circle that you then go through?
You're gonna not
chain stitch.
You've just made that up. It's not a chain stitch.
Chain linkage stitch. What is thread, Sadie C? That's a fair question.
Very good question.
I'm going to hand you over to Nads.
I believe the hope is that we're going to go back to the old days, the original days of Twitter, when people would tell you the simple things and people would share clever jokes. And this is what I believe. I don't know.
Earth-shattering stuff like I've just had a Greggs.
Yeah. No, you made me laugh yesterday because somebody said, what rhymes with threads? Yeah. And Mark said, Greggs. It was late at night. And I said, oh, no, now I want a sausage roll. Yeah. And I had to add, and that is not a euphemism. I actually want a sausage roll.
Andrea Crash says chain stitch is correct.
Oh, God, he's such
I used to love that stitch.
It
used to make me think of chains.
But anyway, so... and I think it's Zuckerberg, isn't it?
Well, yeah, Threads has evolved out of Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's a natural, it's called Threads, an Instagram app.
Not everyone knows that Instagram is attached to Facebook.
And not a lot of people know that Facebook is no longer called Facebook, it's actually called Meta. So all of these things are interrelated. Threads to me right now is an extension of Instagram. And it's a place that's a new place, and it looks essentially identical to Twitter.
Instagram.
It looks identical to Twitter, as Twitter used to be.
No, I don't use my Twitter at all.
I hate Twitter.
And the reason I don't use my Twitter is I think it's become so toxic, and I don't like Elon Musk, and I just don't like it.
Leo,
I occasionally have a look around it. But when I do like it, people like my friend Lee, he puts on really funny, smart, witty stuff. Whenever you can see that he's thought about what he's putting out.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the hope for this. But aren't there going to be certain restrictions on it? Like, aren't they going to be much tougher on nastiness?
Yes. I mean, I think the plan, the desire and the ambition with Threads is the language being used. How they do this, God only fucking knows, because it gets hijacked by absolute cocks, doesn't it? Is they want it to be a nicer, less divisive place. I was talking to Michelle about this last night. They're wanting to, I think they're going to remove, the algorithm is going to try and prevent this idea of sort of divide and rule, so that when you post something, all you get fed is something that buttresses your opinion, which then sort of aggravates and escalates a certain school of thought. And then all you keep getting all of that. And I think...
For what he created.
Yeah, but I think in a way, that quite... sort of, honourable ambition could end up being its downfall, because I think something I'm already finding with it is you get a feed of content, but it seems to bear very little relationship to anything that you've posted. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be an interesting challenge for how we do use social media, because I think we do use social media to find stuff that we are familiar with or that appeals to us.
But isn't that just the very nature of it, that we're all in an echo chamber of our own selves and our own thoughts and our own... So I quite like that.
I do. I think the ambition is great. So
far, I quite like that. I've just seen people that I don't... I mean, I'm finding my way around it, but just like, and I wasn't there at the beginning of Twitter. We were late developers on social media. So I just wondered, because some people I notice on Threads are saying things like, oh my God, it's like the old days of Twitter. So what were the old days? What were the halcyon days? What was the best thing about it?
I don't know. I've never liked Twitter. I mean, I think one of the things about all of it, which is interesting, is we can't pretend. I mean, obviously we can't pretend that we live in a world now where social media is an endemic part of business, profiles, public image, news gathering, information, all those things, it's a huge part of our business. And so you know, at the end of the day, you know, any addition to this landscape is something that's worth looking at and exploring. It was kind of interesting last night, being one of the first million, I think, that joined it, is that there was this sort of sense of, it was a bit like, you know, the rush for gold in America, you know? There was a sort of, oh, what could this be? And I think quite quickly everyone sort of hit a wall of, oh, it's
and
a
I
bit like
think
everything
what
else.
I saw a lot of people want wit. I saw wit, which is what I believe there was a lot of on Twitter at the beginning.
Yeah, Richard Grindley says Twitter is brutal.
I just don't like that. But am I right that Twitter at the beginning was more about wit and?
Yeah, I think. Well, Twitter originally was very much about being forced into witty kind of observations and comments within a ludicrously restrictive number of letters, which I still to this day don't really understand.
So was that part of, because people had to really think to be able to get?
Yeah, I think it was about brevity
restricted.
and smartness.
Yeah.
And I think that for people who still like Twitter, I mean, that's why I think Lee's good at it, you know, it's the ability to kind of capture a funny or clever or witty thought.
Well, Twitter was micro-blogging, says Sadie.
Micro-blogging.
Oh, that's a good way to think.
Absolutely. I mean, so micro, it was ridiculous.
But then that's what people that didn't, like, when I didn't know about social media, and I really hate myself, I hate it when people knock something they don't know anything about.
Linda, birthday.
And for a while I was in that school of, wow, do I really want to know about somebody brushing their teeth? You know, all that stupid thing. Without really knowing anything.
I'm going to have a Greg's today.
Without anyone knowing anything about it. But actually, I do quite like that the simplicity of things as well, just told in a witty way.
I think what was kind of quite nice about it last night was the idea that at that point, I've noticed already coming through today, people going, "Are we going to get thread porn like we get?" Like at that point last night, there was an innocent excitement. I felt
there was a sort.
It was like the doors were opened at Harrods, and everyone was kind of like going, "Oh," like this to begin with. And I think that by the end of today, it's going to be let's hope it's not going to be a cesspit of evil.
But what are the plans to stop it then? Because isn't one of the things that Zuckerberg wants is that it is less toxic?
Yeah, he does. But I'm interested to know how they do that. I mean, at the moment, it feels like a headmaster at a school saying we have zero tolerance of bullying, and then when you drill into the actual kind of details of that, they have absolutely nothing beyond saying stand outside in the queue, in the corridor. One of the things I know you can do is you can carry over, obviously, the restrictions and the blocks and all that, and the limitations on language that you have on your Instagram account. So that automatically carries across. Whereas with Twitter, you don't have that. You know, you can't carry that over. I mean, I think the big advantage it has on Twitter is that it can carry over all of the kind of data and people from Instagram.
I want to give myself the challenge that my Threads is very different from my Instagram.
Yeah, I think that's something. I think everyone's probably feeling their way around it a little bit. I'm trying to work out. I think look, the thing about it is, if you're in social media world like we are, there's always something about a new thing like this that's kind of like, oh, what's its thing going to be? I think my genuine feeling on this, forgetting the fun and nonsense of kind of, you know, here we go. Look, I keep getting bloody follows on Threads now. If you drill into it, I think one of the things that's going to be interesting here, Zuckerberg's gone a bit quiet. He's been on the back foot. I don't like either of them. But if I'm honest, if I had to jump on one side of the ring, it would probably be Zuckerberg rather than Musk. Politics mainly. But what they are saying is that something that's at the back of Threads that isn't there for Twitter and isn't there for most social media platforms is that as we move into an age where most people's lives, and we're very much this, but most people's lives it becomes increasingly defined by your social media sort of profile or portrait or interests or what have you. Not only just for monetary, business, income, but also for, you know, social life, your persona, your image, you know, whatever, your social circles, all of that kind of stuff. What's bedded into this is the ability that say you were to come off, I don't know, Facebook completely or Twitter completely, but you've created so much content there, or YouTube, you've created so much content, you know, that content is you've monetized it, you've earned from it, it's your life, it's your profile, it's all this kind of stuff. There's going to be this almost kind of behind-the-scenes system that all social media platforms will agree to, that you can migrate all your content over, so that there's some ability to not lose everything if you were to leave one platform and go to another. So it's almost like a sort of
Insurance.
and I think that is where we're moving to with this idea of the metaverse. And I mean, you know, you can either be scared by this, or you can kind of embrace it and look at it and go, okay, well, this is the development of the internet.
I think I'll be both.
Yeah,
Scared and
well,
embrace.
it's like Richard Gridley says, all these things have the potential to be abused. It's all, yeah, look, there's a dark side to all social media platforms when abused, Richard. You're absolutely right. So I think what we're going to find and discover is, I think we've just been offered the simple version of Threads, and it's going to be quite rapidly pimped up in such a way that you probably will be able to go live, you will be able to connect with other things. I mean, I already really like the way in which you can very freely and easily just, I don't know why, the images and the links landing on it are quite nice, and it feels nicer. I don't know if that's because
Good question, Sean. Will Donald Trump be allowed on Threads?
Yeah.
Well, anyway. I suppose they will allow everyone.
And so, it's a good point, Lucy Heaney. No one in the EU has got it. It hasn't been launched in the EU due to all sorts of kind of data privacy laws and all sorts of stuff. So we've got it, and America's got it. So we're one of the first countries.
Oh, Clodagh says it's not available in Ireland either.
No, EU. There you go.
Yes, Selena. It's Instagram. It's connected to Instagram.
Yeah. I think it's connected
to download
Instagram,
the app.
But I don't necessarily think I don't know if you have to have an Instagram account in order to have a Threads account.
I don't think you do.
I don't know if you do.
No.
You're creating a great sense of FOMO, Sarah Fox. Yeah, in fact, can we cut this short? I need to get back to Threads. I'm really quite
What would you
stressed
like us to do on Threads that we don't do on Instagram? There you go.
Well,
I want to make it different, but I don't know how.
I want to just keep telling people about me having Greg's. I mean, I think, can we sort of almost make a fun caricature of boring content?
Well, I still want somebody to tell me what was lovely about Twitter, because people always talk with...
Well, some people still
say
do. Some
Twitter
people
was
love
lovely.
Twitter.
No, but people say, oh, in the early days, it was great fun in the early days.
Yeah. I don't know, what was the USP?
Well, that was a good... Who was it that said it was like vlogging, like
micro-blogging?
Micro-vlogging. That's a good thing for us to think about. Micro-vlogging.
Yeah. Oh, look, Russ, you've just joined Threads, I've just seen.
So did anybody like anybody's micro-vlogging? And what did they like about it?
Bailey 1948, I don't know what's the answer. How do you keep Threads from being invaded by well, you can't stop trolls, can you? You can't stop arseholes.
But just block anyone,
yeah.
Never answer anyone that says anything nasty, because they're not worth it, and just immediately block them.
It has a nice device. I don't know if you can hide people. I don't know.
Everyone's Greg's now.
Yeah. Well, I think I might just keep posting about Greg's. I'm going to have a Greg's today. But yeah, it's if you're not on so I mean, you can download it on any app store, on your Android or on your iPhone. You know what? Is this the nature of social media communication, that we're all running to the font of something to drink from and be part of? And having got there, it's a total fucking mirage.
But is it because...
And there's nothing to be done.
Well, there's a chance of... Because I suppose Instagram, like for us, YouTube is we are program makers, producers, directors, presenters, all within our editor, all these things. And so YouTube is our channel. It is absolutely, we are enormously proud of it. We would have, if YouTube had never come about, we would have probably carried on in the way that we were, and this has given us this amazing opportunity to create content on a daily basis in the way that we want, to be our own bosses and all of that. So I suppose for us, there's the excitement. Is this another area where we can create content in a different way?
Can we exploit it?
Yeah.
In a nice way, or in a... Yeah.
But it's also because we do have a lot of fucking fun, don't we? I mean, we do here, we do on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't do Twitter because we don't have fun there. And I don't think anything comes across well or authentically unless you are actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm watching social media and I think, oh, how do you think you are connecting with people? Influencers and certain celebrities that are on social media. And I think, how do you not know that this is like, it's like you've got the thickest wall between who you are and what you're showing. And I think, and so it doesn't interest me. Like, I wouldn't go to a pub where I'm going to walk in and I'm going to get a really nasty vibe, and everybody's going to be looking at me and waiting for me to say something wrong because I'm not going to be fun. Well, that's how I think about Twitter. It's like, and on Instagram, you know, you just make sure if anyone says anything nasty, do not engage,
Yeah.
block. But it's really important. If somebody says something without being nasty that challenges you, then that's great. We love that on here, don't we?
Well,
We love it.
Richard Grindley, mate, I pray at the altar of your physicality. I don't mean that to sound odd, but I just do.
Sounds very fucking
You know,
odd.
it does sound odd, I realise that. But clean up your friends and followers regularly, too many haters spying. Look, there are all sorts of strategies and ways in which you can spot them and you can see them. You can't see them all, unfortunately, because a lot of people actually spend an awful lot of their time, believe it or not, hiding in other people's social media, waiting to pounce or comment and all that. I mean, what a pretty miserable existence that is. You know?
That is the thing. I mean, with Threads, in a way, wow, this is a shiny new thing. But obviously, there will be trolls that go there. But you know, you just clean them out. That's
But
what
like
you do.
Richard says, just do an audit. Just regularly, just kind of, you know, flush through. And if you see odd stuff come up, you know, just go and target and all that kind of stuff. But you're not ever going to be able to escape those arses. You know, you're not going to be able to get away from them. So,
Sadie C, I've got 2 Thread followers. Quite excited about
Yay!
it. Sadie C, what are you on Threads? And me and Mark will follow you.
Sadie C.
So you've got 4.
I mean, yeah, I'm just curious to know. It'll be interesting to see whether it becomes a place for politics or whether it becomes a place for, you know, just silliness or
I think
and how one's going to be fed information. Because I mean, the whole thing is that the beast is all about feeding you content, isn't it? So how is it going to feed us?
I love that
content?
micro vlogging idea.
Micro.
Because I have lots of little moments through my day where something will make me laugh, or I'll go, for fuck's sake, Nadia. I might just do a bit of that. I might have micro vlogging in my head.
Reese Roberts says, in relation to Twitter, always relay the saying, be an owner of what you think because you'll be a slave to what you say.
Ooh. You're so smart, Reese.
Yeah, dude. That's very...
Reese, what do you do?
Yeah.
I've asked you that before, but you know my memory's like a bloody sieve. We rely on your memory, Reese.
Okay.
So like on that, we could probably go to the humble brag.
The humble brag.
It probably leads on quite nicely.
So
what do
what
you
is the
understand the
humble
humble
brag?
brag to be? Because this is I think this is something very much born out of social media. Now, first of all,
Give us
I
an example
love
of a humble
bragging,
brag. Do you?
but I like open bragging.
Give us an example.
I don't like pretend bragging.
All right.
Like, oh my God, my stomach's so bloated.
Oh, right. Okay, so...
But then you're showing a totally flat stomach.
That fucking drives me
Now,
nuts.
I went to stage school, so I always felt like I was fat. Then I've been in TV, and I was always the biggest person in the room. And when I was an actress, there was no one ever as big as me. It's easier in presenting, but and so I had like a whole, right from childhood being, I had this whole humble bragging that probably people didn't have as much as they do now because it's on social media, but within that showbiz world, humble bragging, and it used to turn my stomach.
Okay, well, I just
Oh
want to...
God, look at the state of my house. Oh,
Yes,
look.
yeah, okay.
And
Well,
it's-
look, just for a minute, because I think there's a bit... I struggle to fully comprehend what this actually means. So,
Do you want the definition? It's in
Sean
this
Thomas... No,
article.
but Sean Thomas has given me a suggestion here that kind of clears it for me. I have a humble brag. I met Prince William last week. You see, I don't think that's a humble brag, having met Prince William.
I think
it's
that's
a fact.
interesting.
It's a fact.
Yes.
And it's an irrefutable fact, and it's quite a rare thing, and it's a special thing. So I think that's a brag.
Whereas
That's
if you said, "Oh my God, I don't know what it is. I'm just constantly having to meet these famous. It's just exhausting."
I'm always having to meet royalty.
Yeah, it's like.
Is that right? But not if you're not
No,
meeting
but I mean,
royalty.
obviously, it's a difficult one to use. But it is about
But a
wanting to show off, but hiding it behind self-deprecation or a complaint, and it makes me feel sick.
I think it's worse than that. I think it's a fucking narcissist who absolutely fucking knows that they've got something brilliant, but they want to amplify and emphasize the brilliance of what they have by feigning the idea that they're one of many. That's what it is. That's standing there going, oh, it's such a problem that I can just not, someone just said I can't cut my hair because my hair's so thick. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah. I really hate, don't you just hate the one though, when people go, oh, my stomach, and you look at it and it's like a washboard stomach.
Yes, I'm
It's
so
a very-
I'm so fat when they're not.
Yeah. Because they're fishing.
I'm so
for you.
ugly when they're the most stunning.
Yeah.
But that's not to say you can be a beautiful person who thinks you're ugly. But when you sit at the table going, I look so awful today, when you look like dynamite, just
You know, one that
go
I
away.
really hate, and I think it's because we're so mucky with the cars, when you get in somebody's car and it's totally immaculate and they go, oh God, sorry, my car is so dirty. And
Oh,
you're
I
just like,
hate that. You feel like just...
You must have been polishing this
I
fucking
feel like
car
doing a
all
dirty
night.
protest on the glove compartment. I feel like wiping my feet all over their fucking dashboard. It's really... No, it is
What's
annoying.
that one?
Hang on, I'll
my
get it here.
God,
May
it's-
Edmondson. Oh my God, it's so annoying that I have DOMS today after working out yesterday for 5 hours.
When
DOMS.
delayed muscle thingy. Yes. Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, Pink Lady, humble bragging doesn't make sense as they're not being humble. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like, you're just bragging.
No, yeah, but they don't think they're bragging. They think
They
that they're being humble. It's like all these people that show off their perfect bloody
Oh,
houses
interesting.
all the time.
Jenny
and their
Marshall
perfect
says, to be fair,
cupboards.
she thinks it's low self-esteem. Do you think? I think
Sometimes.
I think it's
you're
about
right.
the intent, isn't it?
I think sometimes it is about low self-esteem, but I think sometimes, and I think very much in the showbiz world and in the influencer world, they used to say this thing in showbiz, the common touch. Have you got the common touch, right? And that meant that you could, now it would be relatable. That's the thing, it would be relatability. So it's like this feigned...
Sorry, Toff is just looking at Toffs! Sorry, she was having a meditative moment. Go on,
It's
sorry.
like this feigned understanding of what it's like to be you, kind
be
of
real.
thing. To be real, yeah. It's like I fucking hate
Okay,
it.
is this a humble brag? I'm so crazy.
No, I think that's just annoying.
Oh, you're just like me. You're so crazy. No, that's, yeah, humble. The humble brag.
But sometimes when you have a something might be perceived as a humble brag when actually you can find it really hard to take a compliment.
Yes.
So somebody might say, oh, but you're gorgeous. You go, oh, no, I'm not. And that could be seen as a humble brag, but actually the person might be feeling so, like you said, such low self-esteem. But I think I'm talking more about the really obvious humble bragging that goes
Right.
on social media that I think this article that I was reading has become a very toxic thing for people. You know, I think this is why I do a lot of Instagram versus reality stuff, because we all know that nobody's life can be that perfect, as a lot of people will tell. So bad enough you've got to look at somebody's perfect life, but then when they're showing your perfect life and go, oh, it's not really, and you know, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm such a mess, and my hair's such a mess. It's like, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah, I'm not sure this film's going to get nominated for an Oscar. That sort of thing. That's a humble brag.
No,
Oh, is it
you're not getting it at all.
No, give me an example. Yeah, but the suggestion being that I have actually, but you haven't.
Well, that would be more if you had got the Oscar, because then you'd be bragging about getting the
Yes,
Oscar.
right.
But you'd be saying something like, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to show something off, but you don't want to look like you're showing off. So you make a complaint about it, or you self-deprecate.
So you're standing with a great big schlonger in your pants.
Yeah.
And you say, God, my penis is so small.
Yes, that would be a humble brag. Or you would say, God, I just don't know what to do with this.
Or it would be a brumble hag. Oh, no, yes, it's so difficult knowing where to put this.
Yes, that would be a good brag.
About my schlonger.
That would be a humble brag.
That would be a humble brag. It's so difficult
So-
to know where to put the bloody thing.
Yeah.
Especially if it's said like that as you walk into the room. I just don't know where to ever
Yeah.
put. I'm getting carried away with this humble brag.
Yeah. So somebody, come on, make us laugh. Think of a humble brag using a body part.
I just have no room in my wheelbarrow for my bollocks.
No, Mark.
No, is that not
That's... No, a humble brag would be, I'm so stupid for not buying a wheelbarrow big enough to hold
I haven't
my
got a
ball.
wheelbarrow
You
big
haven't-
enough.
You see, you walked all over my punchline.
You walked all over my ball bag. I haven't got a wheelbarrow.
If you want to ask me the question,
okay, I'm asking you the question. Okay.
Well, the humble brag, if you had huge bollocks, would be,
Right.
I'm so stupid for not buying a wheelbarrow big enough to hold my balls.
I think people would have lost interest by the time I'd said that. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't have said that on original Twitter.
None of this makes sense.
Okay, well, let's do one for you.
Like what?
What
about my body?
Yeah, a humble brag. Come on, do a humble brag.
Well, I can't because I don't feel fabulous about any of it.
Well, okay, sometimes you go, oh, I just, something about your curls. There's often you're sort of self-deprecating about your curls and your hair.
Not when I like
so
them.
Curly.
No, not when they're good. I go, oh God, I'm having a great day, hair day.
Right.
Because I am a natural show-off. I don't have a
You
problem.
brag.
I brag my fucking tits off. If there is something to show off about, I show off about
That's
it.
why she's got her
Listen,
tits.
I literally, if somebody says do a photograph, I always go, do you want a photograph? I always go, right? I've done that. There are photos of me this big going. I was just born showing off because I'm a middle child. So I always wanted to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, what can I show off about?
Well, I think if you were to now say something like, you know, one of your recent sort of, you know, posts about your sort of body confidence, or you and a Ken, you said, oh, I'm just so huge and humongous and elephantine at the moment. People go, no, you're not. That would be a humble brag, right?
But I would never do that because that makes me sick just hearing that.
I'm really struggling because the only understanding I have of the humble brag is around a massive todger. Like, that's the only area I can think about it in terms of. I've got.
Well, okay, so oh God, I'm so look at my house, what a state, but it's totally perfect. While somebody is showing you their house.
That makes me want to shart everywhere.
That is a humble brag.
No, I get that. That's fucking annoying.
What was that one? So
I'm
come on,
tired.
some humble
My
brag.
stomach. Anna Charlambus, I'm tired. My stomach bloated all the time, but it's true. People must think there she goes again.
Not necessarily.
Isn't it, Anne Illing? Isn't it annoying that the shop doesn't stock my size 10 in clothes?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes, that
is a good one.
Oh, when people go, oh God, it's hanging off me.
Ellie Denning says, isn't this fishing for compliments? I'm confused. It is confusing. It's like nailing a jelly
But
to
fishing
a wall.
for compliments is humble bragging.
Yeah.
It is. Anyway, we've talked that one out.
I need another pair of trousers because my todger's made them threadbare. No.
It's so annoying how my todger always ruins my trousers. That's humble bragging. Why are we only doing this with a penis?
Oh, well, why not? I mean, you know, they're stupid. They look ridiculous. They're rarely big enough. Okay, well, there we go. I just don't get wrinkles. Good genes, I guess. Reese, that's a good one. That's a good one.
No, but I think that's proper showing off. That's nice.
Oh, fuck, you know, as soon as I feel I've nailed it, someone comes in and just drags it away from me. Okay, well, there's humble bragging. Perfect.
Oh, here we go. What's this one? Lucy, an Irish politician.
Oh, hang on. It's here. An Irish politician. I have 3 houses, a few housekeepers, and do all that on 250,000 a year. Try it sometime. Needless to say, he was not re-elected.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Humble brags. I have a signed autograph from my favourite pop singer, Paul Weller. I've been a fan since 13 years of age. I'm 56. That's just cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not a humble. That's, yeah. Oh, Sarah D. My zip keeps breaking because of the size of my todge. Yeah, I suppose you would have to complain about the amount of zips you've got, right? It's quite complicated.
It's so annoying when I walk down the street and just people whistle the whole time.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like that. Got it. Nailed it. Okay, just quickly. A perfect romantic stranger. Woman left her number for fit bus driver. Gets a response from bus driver. But
did you see this
the response
story
is that he's
yesterday?
already been taken. But what drew you to this was the idea of, have you ever reached out in public to someone?
I remember when I was, when I was young and, very young, like teenage, I always had this idea that, you're on a train and you see somebody.
Yeah.
And, a note is passed or something, that old romantic idea. And I love this. She saw this guy, this bus driver, was running after the bus doing one of these. He didn't see her, so her friend put up a note on the bus stop saying, were you the handsome bus driver that we were running after? If so, call this number.
And he did.
Well, yeah, so then it got in the paper, and then everyone at the bus station was laughing about who it was, and he's the handsome bus driver, and so he said, yeah, it is. He rang the number and said, oh, well, actually, I've actually got a partner, but you're lovely, and if I hadn't, I would have gone out with you.
Sliding.
His partner felt about.
Well, it's almost like sliding doors, quite literally, on a bus, isn't it? The sliding doors.
Have you ever approached a stranger in a romantic way?
No. Not
Did
like
you
that,
have
no.
dreams of it? Did you think about, oh, I'd love to do, like you see the same girl on the tube, or you see the same guy on the tube? What would be your...
I mean, without wishing to resurrect it, but wasn't Perfect Partner a little bit like this? I mean, it's the idea that are you potentially passing your perfect partner?
All the time.
And I remember years ago we tried to get a dating show away called Perfect Stranger, which was the idea that you literally took someone who was single on a journey through London or through their local town on public transport. It was actually on public transport. There's a thing about public transport.
I remember this idea.
Yeah. And you would travel on the tube or you travel on the bus in any part of the country. And, alongside a presenter who was undercover. And, you would
So then somebody spots them.
No. The person that you're following, the person you're filming with, sees various people that they like the look of. And as a production team, you would approach them and you would have a bit of a brief exchange.
Isn't that what Davina did?
Yes, Street Mate was like it. But the idea behind it was just perfect stranger. Could you meet the perfect stranger? But a Perfect Partner, a show we met on, it was the same thing where your friends would choose someone and your family would try and choose someone else, and you'd go out into the places where you think your partner would meet someone.
This is where we met on this show. Mark was directing. It was for the BBC, wasn't it? Yeah. And so we had was it two family
teams.
And two friends?
Yeah.
And the person gave the list of what they wanted in their perfect partner, and then they went out and looked for it, and my God, they were amazing, filling out the tick list of everything.
Yeah. But you can see why.
But nobody connected.
No.
20 episodes. And nobody liked anybody.
In fact, I think there's more. It's 40. But here's the thing: I can see why social media dating apps took off, because that series didn't work at all.
But it was the only series America wanted to buy lock, stock and barrel with me as the presenter.
Perfect Partners.
I couldn't believe it. I could have gone to America. I could have been a presenter.
I do think that that is something from your
Everybody fancied
from
him.
your
Nobody
child.
wanted their partner. They wanted him.
I do think that that idea as a youngster. I used to be on the tube all the time, travelling to school when I was a teenager, and I used to think God, I wonder if the person that I'm meant to marry
is sat right opposite me, and I'm missing it now.
What do you do?
And you know what? I think, there's always this, but that could be dangerous. Who could be the person? But if you think about every single situation where you meet somebody, you're not safe from them being a psychopath or a narcissist in any situation, whether it's an app.
Exactly. If you swipe right and go on a date, how much more due diligence have you done to meet that person than you have potentially meeting someone on a bus, on a train, and you've got a production team, obviously, would go up to them and go, look, can we just check that you're not an absolute,
We should make that series for our YouTube channel.
It's quite a nice one for YouTube. Yeah, you would be a great presenter.
I'll go right up to them. Listen, my mate over there quite likes you. She likes you.
Can I just, bouncing back to the humble brag, Richard Grindley, you're on fire today. Are you currently on a running machine? I found extra large condoms don't stretch that much.
Oh, very good. That's a humble brag. I just can't believe we can't get off penises. It's so...
Did you just say that? I can't believe we can't get off penises.
In relation to humble bragging.
That is a remarkable way to almost follow. But finally, I just want to share with you that they've been rummaging through, on our Coffee Moaning Instagram, I posted a picture of a cupboard with some wigs in it. Look at these images, Nads. Whose bedroom? Whose cupboard do you think that is?
Oh my God, with the guns.
Guns, gold
bullion,
bullion,
Trump,
wigs.
Is it?
Wigs, bags of cash.
Bags. Andrew Tate?
No, it's the head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin. They've busted his place in St. Petersburg, but guess what he's also got a framed photo of?
What?
The severed heads of his victims.
Oh my God.
This was the guy that we were all sort of excited about the prospect of him potentially.
But he hasn't been seen since the uprising, has he? He's dead, isn't he?
That's through the keyhole.
Has Putin killed him? He must have by now.
Generally, any opposition to Putin ends up flying off the top of a building.
Window.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
and what's remarkable is that the press department of the Kremlin always come out saying, well, you know nothing about this at all. You know absolutely
it's so
nothing
incredible,
about this
isn't
at
it?
all.
God, thank God we are born where we are born.
Yeah.
I mean, we moan on and on and on about everything that goes wrong with this country. But imagine that. Jesus Christ. I feel
Wigs, guns,
so
gold
sorry
bars,
for the Russians. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Devil in the deep blue
And
sea.
to not know. For all your news to be cut off in this way, and just not to know.
Just one look in the head of the Wagner Group's cupboard made me feel vaguely
Have a look
affectionate
at
towards
it.
Putin.
It's
It was
horrible.
quite something.
No, don't.
No, I know. But here's the thing. We're not going to talk about the Killjoy TFL bosses who banned an advert on the Underground because it advertised a play featuring a Victoria sponge sandwich cake.
Well, let's, just because you've said it all now.
All right, I thought I'd tease you in. Tell us about this, Nads.
So this is an ad for a theatre show. Theatres are really struggling as well. £20,000 to do the shoot for the posters, hundreds of posters printed, and TFL have refused to put the poster on the bus because it is the picture. Can I get it up here? We need to see the picture.
Sharp-witted and very funny. It's a two-tier cake.
Let me show you the picture of it. Because this encourages obesity.
We'll pop it on a coffee moaning, and you can give us your opinion on that. Look, that's the picture. It encourages obesity.
For the love of God,
we've got to be allowed to be able to make our own decisions.
Too much sugar and fat with a cake that big. I mean, honestly, it's that. I'm not a great one for all this throwing red meat and getting everybody crazy and angry about it.
Victoria sponges.
But that, to me, is literally batshit crazy.
Do you know what I want? I want a food fight. I think we should just film a food fight. I love a food fight. But then eat it, obviously.
Are you all following us on @CoffeeMoaning, by the way, our new Instagram account? Follow us over there.
I don't think you can on Threads yet create multiple kind of different thread accounts relating to your different
Sadie, now I want cake.
Instagram accounts.
Well, you're just proving their point. If we put the cake up, everybody want cake.
So we've got some birthdays to do. We've got Rachel FH. I think it was your birthday yesterday. So for those of you listening, we're singing happy birthday to some of our lovely followers and commentators here. And let's do it. Rachel FH.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Rachel.
FH.
Happy birthday to you.
And we've got a little happy birthday here for Leo, who's 13. Sorry about the conversation.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Leo. Happy birthday to you.
And we have Linda.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Linda. Happy birthday to you.
And a happy birthday to Keely, who just got in at the end there. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Keely. Happy birthday to you.
We are now going to be filming with Nadia's dear dad.
And guys, don't forget, this Saturday we are back with the Curly Cooks. We are doing a 70s special, a 70s
fantastic.
dinner party. When you think of a 70s dinner party, what's the first thing you think of?
I think you should pop something on your Insta stories and we'll get that through.
And we'll put that on Coffee Moaning, so if there's something particular you want us to make.
And go and check us out on Threads. We're gonna be, I don't know what we're gonna do over there. Threads.
Did we get the name?
Sadie C.
We're gonna follow her on
Threads. Is that also a sort of what's the word? A sort of slang for trousers, clothes.
What?
Throwing on some threads.
Yeah.
I think we should start maybe a photo challenge of what's your favourite threads.
I think we need a Threads dance.
Yeah, a Threads dance. Okay, maybe a Threads dance would be good. All right, guys. Look.